All right, today we are jumping into one of the most foundational stories in the entire world. It's a story about a perfect beginning, a truly catastrophic failure, and then the surprising whisper of hope that honestly just echoes through all of human history. But let's start with a question for you. Seriously, imagine you had it all. A perfect world, a perfect existence, a perfect relationship with the one who made you. What on earth could possibly make you risk all of that? This question, right here, is the absolute heart of the story of Adam and Eve.
So, to really get a handle on the fall, we first have to understand what was lost. Our story doesn't begin in some murky chaos. It begins with a world that was deliberately, meticulously, and perfectly made.
In the beginning, there's God. And then he speaks. That's it. There was no struggle, no cosmic battle, no effort. Reality just snapped to attention and obeyed his command. The Word of God itself has the power to pull existence out of absolute nothingness.
And you start to see this pattern emerge. After each massive act of creation, the water, the land, the sky, we hear this little phrase, this recurring refrain, and God saw that it was good. Now, this isn't just God being pleased with his work. This is establishing a standard. It's a divine seal of approval, of absolute, flawless perfection right from the get-go.
Then, at the very end of the sixth day, when everything is in place, the seas, the land, all the plants and animals, the assessment gets an upgrade. The entire symphony of creation, all of it working together in perfect harmony, wasn't just good. It was declared very good. But the real masterpiece, the pinnacle of it all, was still to come. And here, everything shifts. The language changes to "let us," which kind of hints at this divine community. This new creature God is about to make isn't going to be just another animal. This one would be an image bearer, someone uniquely made for relationship, for creativity, for actual communion with their creator.
And just look at how personal this creation was. I mean, the animals were spoken into existence, right? But humanity, man was formed intimately, like a potter carefully shaping clay. And then comes the final, incredible step, the breath of life. It's this divine kiss that animates the dust and sets humanity apart from everything else, forever.
So this perfectly created man is placed in a perfect home, a paradise where literally everything is provided for him, and where there is only one single, simple boundary. And the setting itself is so important. Eden wasn't some harsh wilderness you had to survive in. Its name literally means delight. It was a gift, a garden of total abundance, designed for humanity not just to live, but to absolutely thrive in joy and purpose. And here it is, the one rule. In an endless garden filled with yes, there was a single no. You see, the test wasn't about some arbitrary rule. It was about trusting the relationship. And the consequence for breaking that trust, it couldn't have been more clear: death. But all this peace, this perfection, is about to be shattered. A new character slithers into the garden, one who is subtle, incredibly crafty, and absolutely determined to twist the truth. I mean, just look at this. The choice is laid out in the starkest terms imaginable. It's a direct contradiction. God's clear, protective warning versus the serpent's flat-out denial. The entire conflict boils down to one simple question: whose word are you going to trust? Now, this temptation, it was brilliant. It wasn't just, hey, eat this apple. The serpent's lie targeted three of the most powerful human desires that are just as real today. He appealed to the physical, it's good for food. He appealed to the aesthetic, it's a delight to the eyes. And he appealed to our ambition, our pride, it'll make you wise. It's a timeless strategy, really. Okay, so Eve took the bite, we all know that part. But she wasn't alone. This is a detail that's so easy to miss. The source material is very clear that Adam was right there with her the whole time, silent, passive, and completely failing to protect or to lead. His choice to eat was just as deliberate. This was a shared failure through and through. And the consequences were instant. It's like a switch was flipped. The perfection immediately began to unravel, fracturing their relationship with God, with each other, and even with themselves. Their eyes were opened, all right, but not to becoming gods. They were opened to their own shame. And what is the very first act of fallen humanity? This almost pathetic attempt at a cover-up, trying to hide their new, broken reality with their own flimsy, man-made efforts. So when God comes looking for them, Adam's response is just, wow. He immediately shifts the blame to Eve, but listen closely. In doing so, he implicitly blames God himself. The woman you gave me. He's basically pointing the finger back at his creator.
And the blame game just keeps on going. Eve, in turn, passes the buck right down the line to the serpent. Nobody is willing to just say, I did it. I sinned. The perfect unity of Eden is completely shattered and replaced by this ugly cycle of blame. And so, judgment comes, and each consequence is specifically tailored to their role in creation. The serpent is humbled, cursed to crawl on the ground. For the woman, the incredible blessing of creating new life will now be mixed with pain, and her relationships will be marked by conflict. And for the man, his job of cultivating the earth will now become hard labor, a struggle against a cursed ground that will, one day, take him back. So they're exiled from the garden. Paradise is lost. It's an absolute tragedy. But right in the middle of this dark, heavy judgment, a surprising and incredibly profound promise is given. And here it is. Hidden inside the curse that's placed on the serpent, we find the very first whisper of the gospel. It's this incredible promise that one day an offspring of the woman would come. And yeah, he would be wounded by the serpent, that's the bruised heel, but he would deliver a fatal, final, head-crushing blow to his enemy.
And this really brings us to the ultimate point of the whole story. It isn't just about one man's failure thousands of years ago. The first Adam, through his sin, basically flung open the door for death to enter our world. But that ancient promise pointed forward to a last Adam, to Jesus Christ, who would come to completely reverse the curse, to defeat death itself, and to reopen the way back to the tree of life.
So we end where the fallout began, with the very first question God asked fallen humanity. Where are you? Now, he wasn't asking for their GPS coordinates. He knew where they were. He was asking a question about their relationship. He wanted them to realize where they now stood. And that question still echoes for every single one of us today, doesn't it? Where are you?